Alright, so this is the real story of Ed GEIN. Ed GEIN was born August 27, 1906. His parents' name was George and Augusta, and from my knowledge, he was actually really obsessed with his mother the way they put it in the Netflix series. He was that obsessed. He was so obsessed to the point that his brother Henry GEIN actually got worried. Fun fact. They said that his brother Henry GEIN actually died in a burning fire. But later in life, they ended up finding bruises on his head in the autopsy. And they all started thinking that Ed GEIN was responsible for his death. But they never found out if Ed GEIN was the one who actually did it. Confirmed. Ed GEIN grew up in a religious, strict household. His mom actually used to punish him if he made friends at school. And she was not a fan of females. She thought that all females were evil. Ed GEIN idolized his mother and he took care of her after she had her first stroke. And then eventually she had her second stroke in 1945 and she ended up passing away. And that's what actually made Ed GEIN crash out. So that's how everything started when he was going to the bars, seeing these women who reminded him of his mother, and he would go after them. Fun fact, Ed GEIN really never killed anyone besides two people. The Bernice woman and Mary Hogan was the only two ones that was confirmed that he really took out. Everybody else, he simply just dug them out the ground and he was obsessed with their body. GEIN was first arrested in 1957 when the authorities was investigating Bernice Warden's death. That was the owner of the hardware shop. They ended up finding out it was Ed GEIN because of some receipts that he had from the shop. Plus, it was blood left back in the shop. Once Ed GEIN hit 51 years old, he admitted to killing Bernice. So in the series, when they found her headless, that actually happened. That was real. That whole segment with the barn, that was real. That really happened. They eventually found the remains of Mary Hogan, and he revealed to the authorities that the reason he loved to keep flesh and skin from females was because it kind of made his connection deeper with his mother. He was never tried for Mary Hogan's death or the grave robberies that he ended up confessing to, because they thought he was just loony. It was confirmed that he was loony. GEIN died in 1984 at the age of 77 from lung cancer at Mendota Mental Hospital. That is the story of Ed GEIN. A lot of stuff that they were showing were a little over-exaggerated just to make it a little beefier. Like, for example, Ed GEIN didn't sound like Mickey Mouse. They tried to make Ed GEIN for some reason sound like Mickey Mouse, and that's not how he sounded. I actually heard a real piece of footage with him talking. He doesn't sound like that. But yeah, that's the real story.